Hi, this is Rebecca from Housekeeping on a Dime. I'm going to talk about homeschooling today, which I've mentioned on my blog. I am a homeschool mom. I've been homeschooling for 4 years, and I've never done any kind of video or talked about homeschooling before. And the ironic thing is that I am accepting a position as a teacher next year at our local Christian school. So I've had a good 4 year run of homeschooling, and our chapter is coming to a close. However, I do want to encourage you that, school is year by year with a break in the summer. And so you can try homeschooling 1 year and then stop at the next and go back to traditional school. If you don't like traditional school, then you can go back to homeschooling. And so there, you don't have to be married to one method forever. And so there are good points and bad points about homeschooling, and I'm hoping I will just share the good ones with you today, and give you a realistic perspective and maybe a perspective that other people are not talking about, and that's how to do homeschooling affordably. Um, Staying at home is not affordable for a lot of people, but for me, it's what I chose because I had a baby and I wanted to be home with the baby. It hasn't been easy to have a toddler running around while you homeschool for sure, but it's what we could afford and what I wanted to do without having to pay for private education. So I'm going to show you my homeschool room that I have. So we have been living in our, feels like our new house to us, but we've been living here, I think, for 2 years now. And it had 4 bedrooms, and we took one of the bedrooms and made it into the homeschool room. So as you come into the main door, we've got his and her closets here, and I have hung toys for the toddler, in bags on hooks on the closets because I was trying to keep them a little bit more neater, and maybe like keep his toys new to him. It's good and bad. The only bad thing about it is I think it keeps toys out of sight, out of mind, and so he wants to watch TV more than I would like him to. But it is nice in that I don't have to damage my old plaster walls with things inside the room. So I just added this bed in here today because I'm going to try to turn this into like a half office, half guest bedroom. And these are all the books I have out that I'm going to try to show you real quick. So let's see. I've got a little school desk there. Whoa, sorry. That is terrible. And I've got filing cabinets. Filing cabinets, I think, are kind of a must in homeschool because they store books really easily, and not just papers and files, but books. And I love maps, and there's another bookshelf, and this is where my high schooler works, and another filing cabinet with a drawer wide open. This is my art box that I keep all of our art supplies in. And okay, and this is a really fun periodic table off of Amazon that gives you pictures of the elements, which is really, really cool. Okay, so I'm going to try to set this camera down, and we're going to talk. And I hopefully I'm not going to talk too fast, give you enough information without being overwhelming here. Okay, so one thing real quickly. Homeschooling never stays the same. You're always tweaking things. I have a room. A lot of people don't even have a homeschool room because their kids won't stay in one place because kids won't behave. My third grader works out in the dining room right now because he and the high schooler will not be quiet together. And so that's not what I wanted, but that's what happens. You will constantly be rearranging where you do school. One day you'll be out on the blanket in the sunshine doing reading class. Another day you'll be down in the basement. I mean, it's just a free-for-all. But as long as you're learning, it doesn't matter where it happens. One thing though, wearing clothes does help. So I will tell my student if he doesn't concentrate, then he's getting out of his pajamas and he's putting real clothes on. for school. And that's how I make him, okay, I'm going to work. Not always, but sometimes he does that, jumping to it. Okay, so everybody is concerned about books. And the first thing I would recommend with homeschooling is doing a traditional approach if you don't have an education background. So if you're not sure what level you're supposed to teach things at, if you're not sure what books or what concepts are supposed to be taught at each grade, then I do recommend purchasing from a school manufacturer of textbooks. Abeka, Bob Jones, Apologia, Master Books, Sunlight, one of those people that already knows what a third grader should know. If you don't know, if you're an educator, great. Have fun with the Charlotte Mason approach, with unschooling. Have a fun time with that. That was not my background. My degree is not in education. So one of the things that helped me was this book, The Educated Child by Bill Bennett. And it will tell you what he thinks every third grader, fourth grader, fifth grader, and you name it, should know how to do by the end of the year. That is a help, but a textbook, I think, is the best help. So those textbooks can be pricey. So what I've done is, of course, I think about buying my textbooks used first. And what I'll often do is see what I can find affordably and then base my curricula on what I have found affordably rather than researching the most amazing curricula and then buying all the stuff, because it can get so expensive. And then what happens after it all comes in 2 months into school and then you find out you didn't really like it. So that happens to me already. Different, sciences we tried in high school that were too hard for us, and now I'm trying to sell them. But thank goodness I only spent $20 for them rather than spending brand new $100 on a set of something that now I can't teach because it's too hard for me. So I'm going to share with you a few fun things I've gotten. You can buy used books many different places. I suggest eBay is the best place I've found used textbooks. But of course, there are many Facebook groups and so forth that you can buy used textbooks at. Because of COVID, a lot of the homeschool conferences were closed for the past couple years, and so they usually are a wonderful resource for used books, but lately, of course, they haven't been. If you live in an area that there is a lot of homeschooling, there may be a brick and mortar store that sells or consigns used textbooks. There is one about an hour and a half from me, and I actually just contacted the lady. She said, yes, I have them, and she mailed me all of the Abeka readers for third grade. Love these. Highly recommend the Abeka readers. She gave them to me for $1 each because they were like an older edition. Amazing. That was so cool. So we got a really good deal on those. For my third graders math, this is an old set of Bob Jones math. And I really like most of the Bob Jones curricula. But this is an old set. I got this for $5 on eBay because it was such an old set. But it's really taught us exact same concepts, just funny old pictures, And the nice part about a textbook is you can pass it on to other children. And you can use up a lot of your old yellowed paper. Use it up. Don't let it go to waste. And the last, idea that I have is, this was an idea I got this year, is I actually found teacher editions of workbooks and of tests that what I did was I just whited out with a whiteout tape. Ooh. there. Oh yeah, I can't find a good one. This is like a bad one that's seen better days. But anyway, a whiteout tape. I'll white out the answers, and then on vocab is easy enough that I can grade it myself. But on something like the literature tests, I would like copy down the answers on a notebook paper and then white it out. And so I saved myself buying 2 and just bought 1. Now, granted, I can't use it again for another year, but because I wasn't sure what my future plans were anyway, I didn't want to spend a ton of money and then just have to figure out how to sell it all or something. So I think those are all my book ideas. If not, I will share them when they come to me. How about the extras? So everybody wants to know, well, homeschool kids, everybody's concerned about their socialization. I think it's valid. And I have found church programs really helpful. So if your church is not big enough or have enough, there are local churches that offer Awana. They offer Trail Life, Pioneer Girls. That may not be the right name. Frontier Girls, something like that. I apologize about that. And Vacation Bible School. Most of these programs are free and give your kids some extra socialization. For physical education, we often use the local Parks and Recreation. Get some really nice sports training. No, it's not all of the different sports introduced in one class, but it's still something. The same applies to anything that you feel incapable of doing, whether it's music or art. You can find so many things out in the community and a lot of Facebook groups for local homeschoolers that you can ask questions and find all kinds of free resources to use or low-cost resources. Co-ops, I'm not really sure. I've never used a co-op. My fear is that they can be expensive because they want you to use the certain curricula. However, who knows? Maybe they have a lot of used books for you in a co-op. So I'm not the what's the word I'm looking for, expert about co-ops, but I have not used them. And what I have used is a homeschool umbrella, and that is $150 for per year per child. And what that does is it tells me how to make my portfolio, and it makes me feel like at ease when it comes time to review my portfolio. It takes a lot of the worry out by using a homeschool umbrella. Plus, we do it through a local Christian school so that when my son graduates, he actually gets a diploma from that school rather than from homeschool, which I think is helpful in the future possibly, because nobody knows me if I'm gifted or not at teaching. Okay, and next is high school. A lot of colleges offer dual enrollment so that you can take whatever class that you're struggling with, or even if you're not struggling with whatever discipline in the high school age, and the child can take it there and it count for college credit and also count for high school credit. I have not used it yet, but I am most likely going to at some point in my high school offerings for my children. There are some cool perks to homeschooling if you're on the fence about it. And financial perks, of course, is what Housekeeping on a Dime is all about. And so I want you to consider these. The first is that supplies. At a traditional school, your teacher gives you this great big list of supplies that they want you to have. And they want the specific twistable crayons, and they want the specific Clorox wipes, and they want specific things. Whereas you, as a homeschool mom, can build, for example, like your art lesson around the supplies that you have. Keep your eye out for other ones that you want to have in the future when they get cheap, or ask for them as a Christmas gift, and then plan. Or like a really fun like lab kit, science lab kit, you can ask, like crystal growing or something like that. You can ask for it as a gift before you teach that part. um, Supplies you can use up. The ugliest, oldest paper you've got, you can use it up and not have to worry about it. um, Clothes, shoes, backpacks, all of that, you buy less of them, and usually your kid doesn't care if it's a Nike sneaker or it's a Walmart sneaker or whatever. There is like a lot of cool perks to homeschooling financially. Food. You can often eat last night's dinner as your lunch, leftovers, instead of buying really fun packaged things and stressing about whether they'll eat it, whether they won't. You don't have to worry about the Chick-fil-A every single week, and paying for that. You don't have to worry about all the school spirit stuff that they want you to buy. You don't have to worry. I mean, this kind of sounds sad, I suppose, but they may not be invited to as many birthday parties. Now you don't have to worry about driving them who knows where, buying all these gifts. So many extras that you have to think about when you are in a traditional school. And then, of course, I'm thinking about for next year. And you field trips. You plan the field trip to what you can afford, rather than being told, your child needs X amount of money for a field trip. Even something, I don't know if you can see it back here. I'm going to point to it. I'm not sure. Nope. There it is. I actually found that printer. It's a Hewlett Packard. I found it for $5 at a yard sale. I was like, I don't know if it's going to work, but I tried it and it works beautiful. It does an amazing job. So there are so many ways that you can homeschool and save a lot of money, and you'll be surprised that you may not miss the income that you think you would miss by working full time. So I hope that's helpful. If you have any comments or questions, please comment below. I hope I covered everything I wanted to cover, and blessings to you and your decisions to educate your child and to do it in a way that is the best for them, their learning, and for your overall good as a family. It's not perfect, but school's not perfect. Prep schools aren't perfect. Nothing's perfect, and that's okay. We live in a fallen world. We'll make it. We do the best we can, right? And so I think that's what school is about as well, teaching our kids that. Okay, I'll see you next time. Bye for now.